continent of Africa. But right now, I want to turn our eyes. I thought, what a important thing. We're going to talk about light, and what an important thing to see how the light was brought into Africa, and how that light can shine brightly. You can hear it in their voices. You can hear it in their words. But I wanted to bring you to a street, and if you come with me, just come on over. It's near my neighborhood, and you can see the street up here. And there's a star, David, and you can look down here. I wanted to read to you from the RZIM apologist and chaplain, Michelle Tepper. And I wanted to read this to you. Here we go. It's called Light Changes Everything. Isaiah 9:2 says, "The people walking in darkness have seen a great light. On those living in the land of deep darkness, a light has dawned." And she writes this: "Last Christmas, my next door neighbor generously provided white Christmas lights for all of the trees in the front yard of every house that lined the main street of our housing division. The result was both breathtakingly beautiful and unexpectedly transformative for our small community. Each night, it was as if our entire street was filled with wonder and joy as the lights glowed brilliantly against the dark winter sky. Commuters, like the ones we see here, there's been several cars that are just driving by real slowly, like this one right here, for instance, to see the lights on this street. Commuters drove leisurely down the street on their way home from work, and instead of racing back to their garages. People from all around the neighborhood started to go on evening walks, and children were now able to laugh and play outside with each other long after the sunset each day." And you know, as I read that, I said to myself, that's the guy on Diamond Avenue. That's the guy, because what you see here is you see this whole setup. And I'm going to take you out to this street, and I'm going to take you right into the street there. Come this way. And you see this whole entire street is lined up with lights. Everything from the star up there and all the trees, they're all done by this one gentleman who lives in this house. His name is Todd, and he does it for the entire street. And I thought, man, this is exactly like him. So what I was thinking of, and we're going to try it, but let's see what happens, because he's watching a USC football game right now, but we'll find out. He's a professor at USC, but I'm going to try to knock and see if I can find out why it is that he does what he does. Hey, how did it go?
No, not good. They lost.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it was a nail biter at the end here.
I saw that they were catching up. Well, TD, this is Todd. So I just want to say hi to Todd. And he is the gentleman that has done everything for this street. And everything that I just read to you about community being formed and cars coming by and people taking pictures, it all happens on this street. It wasn't always this way until Todd decided that he wanted to lighten things up and brighten it up. And so I thought I would knock on his door, but he came out just in time. So thank you so much.
I heard you out here.
Thanks. And I just wanted to ask, what was going through your mind? Why do all this?
Well, it probably started about 12 years ago, and we got these great trees on the street. And actually, the neighbor that used to live over here, he and I were talking and thought it would be fun to wrap all the trees with lights and bring a little festivity and unity to the neighborhood and everything. And I said, okay, if I get the stuff, will you help me? He said, absolutely. So I bought about 100 extension cords, 20 timers, and about 40,000 lights. And then he didn't help me do it. He sent his high school son outside to help me, but that's what got it started. And so we've had fun with it. Now it used to be a couple of us that do it. Now actually my neighbors, everybody pitches in, and we do it. And we wrap the trees and hang the star across the street and do it.
Oh, so you do it together now?
Yeah.
Because I remember a few years ago, you said it was all you.
Yeah. My house I do myself, but the trees on the street is all the neighbors, which is great. And, and I try and encourage them to put some lights up on their house, even if it's one strand. It just, it's fun. I mean, this year I want to do something special for the kids and create a little tunnel thing, which I did. And kids love it. They run back and forth. And, that's what makes me happy is seeing the kids really excited. So it's fun. I try and do something a little different every year.
Yeah, you do. You do. And TD, don't worry, because we're going to run back and forth through the tunnel. So we'll be doing that. But can I ask you, what is it about light that is so attractive? Or what do you think? I haven't even asked you this, but I just thought I'd ask you right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think it just attracts people. I mean, if you have a dark street, you just go through it. And it's always been festive ever since, people used to light candles for festivities back before they had actual electricity. And it's always been, fire, light. It's always been something that's a part of festivities and joy. And so, I don't know when Christmas lights started, but I always said when, I have a house, I'm going to put up lots of lights. And I used to do twice as many as what I do now. I used to do the roof and everything else, but just the fascination of color and lights, and you can change it up, and it's just festive. A lot of people enjoy it.
It's a labor of love, and we haven't even seen all the lights yet. And I remember one year you had lights going up and down your roof, just back and forth. The whole thing was just like
the roof's a little slippery right now. I was up there a couple months ago and I almost slipped off. So that's why I didn't do the roof this year. And after we get a new roof, then I'll be back up there. But
How long does it take you to do all this?
I don't really keep track, do it in little parts, but it doesn't take too long. I mean, a few days, to do it. And so it comes down really quick, but it goes up slower.
It's always the way it is, isn't it? Easy to build, easy to take down something harder to build.
Exactly.
Well, thanks for doing that, because it's brought the community that you hoped it would. And a lot of people are excited, and people are taking strolls down the street that they maybe wouldn't have chosen the street, but now they do.
Yeah, and that's what's fun. I mean, you see it, you're coming by Monterey and you look down, you're like, oh, look at that. And you turn and come down. It's really nice. So, and it gets, the community together and come by, and everyone's thanking me for, doing it. And I'm like, hey, as long as you can enjoy it, it makes it worthwhile.
Awesome. Todd, thanks so much.
Yeah.
Thanks for allowing us to use your home. And if you don't mind, I'm going to finish reading this in your lawn. Is that all right?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
And then we're going to go through the tunnel. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what we're going to do.
All right.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much.
Merry Christmas.
Bye, Todd.
Oh, bye, Todd. All right. Well, I'll start right here. And,
Hi, Tim.
hi. All right. So let's finish our devotional here. I hope you enjoyed that and maybe gave you some ideas. You see, light changes everything. It brings clarity, creates warmth, provides power. Our need for light is often felt most in the middle of our literal and metaphysical darkness. In our darkest night, which is right where this verse begins, Isaiah is speaking to the people of God, who in their time of need chose to look to other nations for salvation rather than to Yahweh. The outcome of their choice was total devastation. The temple is destroyed, their nation is disbanded, and they're exiled to foreign countries. The people walking in darkness in this passage are battle-weary, hungry for peace, struggling against the gloom of despair, and desperately in need of salvation. The remnant who remain faithful to Yahweh in the midst of this deep spiritual and emotional darkness do so purely out of faith in the character of Yahweh, who covenanted to be God with them, even when they could not see him. The book of Hebrews declares, "Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen." You and I are blessed to stand in this side of history, knowing that Christ has come to us. We are the ones that Isaiah prophesied about, who have seen this great light and watched the dawning of redemption through the life, death, and the resurrection of Jesus Christ. And yet we too can identify with the remnant walking in the darkness, holding fast to the promise that one day we will be united with the Lord for eternity. Until then, we wait. And so this season of Advent is all about waiting. And waiting is rarely easy. We wait in seasons of doubt by staying close to the one who helps us in our unbelief. We wait in times of silence, confident that God's word is still living, active, and trustworthy for our lives today. We wait with tears through suffering, trusting that though weeping may endure for a night, joy comes in the morning. Although deep darkness may surround us this season, or in seasons to come, we can rejoice because we know that the light of the glorious gospel of Jesus Christ has come to us. We know that his light still shines in our darkness, and the darkness cannot overcome light. We have a reason for great joy, regardless of our circumstances. As an ancient prayer of the church declares, Christ died, Christ is risen, and Christ will come again. He is present now to us through the Holy Spirit. May his light shine on you and fill you with a light that spreads his joy across the world and your world today. I want you to just take a moment, and we're going to walk through these lights and just look at them and listen to the music, and then Sandra will take over. But I just want to give you that idea of light.
Wow. Thank you so much, Arthur. Thank you so much, Daniel, Stella, for bringing that beautiful scene to our attention. That was gorgeous. That was so, I was kind of entranced. I was like, the lights were mesmerizing. And that is so true, that these things at Christmas point to a greater reality. And I remember that first Christmas, how there's two accounts in Matthew and in Luke. And in Matthew, I always remember Matthew Magi, Luke lambs. So in Matthew, the Magi looked into the nighttime sky and they saw something bright, whether it was a star or the planets, they call it the planets, wandering stars, aligning in such a way they knew that something fantastic was happening in some part of the world in Judea, that a king was being born through the lights of the night sky. And then, of course, we know that the shepherds also saw the angels come down, and I'm sure the angels were bright, and they saw that in the night sky. And thank you. That was so beautiful. Maybe that's why for Christmas we put up the lights to remember the night sky, remember the Magi, remember the shepherds. Thank you.